Right now a fifth oil tanker linked to Venezuela is seized. In our top stories, who the president is promising riches.
Plus, closer to home, we saw some snow fall this morning. I'll talk about how much more is expected coming up.
And a link between shoveling snow and your heart health, how you can minimize your risks. Good Saturday morning, and thanks for waking up with us this weekend. I'm your Weekend Morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings. It is Saturday, January 10th, and if you take a look outside, it feels and looks a lot more like January.
Yes, it does. Look at our beautiful patio.
Yeah.
We've got that snow.
We didn't see a ton of snow, but it accumulated on just about every surface, on all the branches. Not on the sidewalks, though, which is some pretty good news for the shoveling folks. You will have a story about that in a moment. But as we take a look at the current radar, we still are seeing some snow for some areas, especially for places east of Madison. But Madison and areas to the west, just very light snow at this time. And we're really not going to see much more additional accumulation, but we did see probably about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of snow across the area, at least across Dane County this morning. Again, some more consistent snow still for areas east, and those of you to the east could still see about another 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, maybe another inch or about an inch of snow is expected for areas near Milwaukee. But taking another look outside, this is a live view from Platteville. Hard to see for sure. It is pretty, the camera itself is pretty wet, but you can see at the bottom some snow accumulated there as well. So a nice little coat of snow for a lot of the area, but a lot of the snow that we've seen this morning is going to clear out pretty quickly, and we're actually going to see some sunshine later today before some more light snow moves back into the area much later in the day into the overnight hours. But that light snow tonight probably not going to produce much any additional accumulation. So not going to see much snow going forward, but I'll talk more in detail about the temperature forecast coming up a bit later.
Jacob, thank you. Now to developing news this morning. 3 people are in custody after a failed traffic stop. Madison police initiated the stop near the Quick Trip at Pennsylvania Ave and 3rd Street on Madison's north side. The suspect vehicle rammed the patrol vehicle and fled the traffic stop, leading to a chase. Spikes were hit and the car crashed on Milwaukee Street. Dane County Sheriff's Office, Monona and Maple Bluff PD, and the Wisconsin State Patrol assisted. 3 people were in the car, 2 were taken into custody, and 1 fleeing, later apprehended. You're taking a live look now at the White House, where this morning President Trump is promised a full room of oil titans that riches await them in Venezuela. A 5th oil tanker linked to Venezuela was seized yesterday. CBS News' Charlie de Agata explains the Trump administration's efforts to take control of that country's oil industry.
Video shows commandos approaching the ship known as the Alina by helicopter overnight, taking up positions on deck, guns drawn. One rolls a stun grenade toward the door, followed by an explosion. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said the ship suspected of carrying embargoed oil was attempting to evade U.S. forces. It comes just days after the U.S. tracked and seized a tanker being guarded by Russian ships in the North Atlantic.
The fact is that the Russian ships, it was a submarine and a destroyer. They both left very quickly when we arrived.
The U.S. has now seized 3 tankers in the last 3 days, including the Sophia, full of oil and now headed to the United States.
Modernizing Venezuela's oil infrastructure would cost an estimated $180 billion and take 15 years in a country still viewed as unstable. Trump vowed to protect anyone who takes the risk yesterday.
How do you provide total security guarantees to these companies without putting U.S. boots on the ground?
Well, we're going to work with the Venezuelan leaders and people, and we're going to have a very safe group.
Trump also ramped up his threats to take Greenland, a territory of Denmark. He warns he can annex Greenland, quote, the easy way or the hard way. Denmark says the hard way would destroy the NATO alliance. Taking a look at stocks, here are Friday's closing numbers. Wall Street ending the week in green. The Dow is up 238 points. The Nasdaq is up 191, and the S&P 500 is up 45. This morning, we're learning more about the deadly shooting that took place this week in Minneapolis. New video posted by Vice President J.D. Vance shows video from another angle of the shooting. Now, this comes as Mayor Jacob Frey criticized the Trump administration's decision to remove authorities from the shooting investigation.
This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them, making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way.
The agent who shot the woman has been identified as Jonathan Ross, who has worked with ICE in Minnesota for nearly a decade. Ross was involved in another vehicle-related incident last June. Court documents say he was dragged approximately 100 yards with his arm inside a car while trying to execute an immigration warrant. In more local news, here in Madison, protesters took to the streets following that shooting death. The demonstration was hosted yesterday by Voces de la Frontera organizers, saying federal agents who murder people should be held accountable.
If we let this go, then no one is safe. No one is safe who is going to protest the kind of conditions that we are anything that we're holding our government accountable to, whether that's housing, immigration rights, then we're basically saying they have carte blanche to shoot people at will and get away with it.
Similar protests have taken place across the country, including just north of us. Folks in La Crosse are drawing a bigger crowd to the weekly protest at City Hall. About 50 people gathered there, calling on ICE to leave the cities in response to the shootings as tensions continue to increase. Meanwhile, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz declared yesterday a day of unity and called on everyone to observe a moment of silence for the woman who was shot and killed. And today's the big game. The Packers play the Bears in Chicago, and if you scored a last-minute ticket, be sure you're not the one getting played. When you arrive at your game, you'll need to display your tickets from your Ticketmaster app or mobile wallet. Screenshots and printouts are not accepted for NFL games, and if your ticket is a static screenshot of a QR code, a PDF email attachment, or the seller refuses to transfer via Ticketmaster, that's your red flag. It's a scam. Be sure to check the source. If you bought from a reseller like SeatGeek, StubHub, or Vivid Seats, they come with buyer guarantees. Your tickets should be stored in the Ticketmaster app or Team app, showing a moving barcode or an animated QR code that changes every few seconds. All legit tickets will say, quote, "Screenshots will not work." And to be ready for game day, have that ticket added to your Apple or Google wallet. Right after the break, we're going to hear from Packers head coach LaFleur and senior Packers writer Jason Wilde in Green Bay, what they too have to say about this historic rivalry. Now, first, it's time for your morning motivational quote today from Thomas Edison.
Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. And as we said earlier, I feel like almost any good thing in the world, you do have to work to get a little bit. But it's like once you get past the hump of either starting or working at that, it doesn't feel as much like work, and you're just, enjoying yourself because it's routine.
Right, that work becomes routine, it becomes passion, and it becomes something you love. So here is your guys' motivation to put on your overalls and don't miss that opportunity. Still ahead in health headlines this morning, how shoveling snow affects your heart.
But first, I'll be back with a look at that snowfall. This is Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. The Packers are playing in Chicago tonight, and before our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde heads down there, he's in Green Bay now with more on the rivalry.
Good morning, everybody, from Lambeau Field, and happy game day. The Packers are in Chicago for their NFC wildcard playoff showdown with their arch rivals, the Chicago Bears, and so are we. Well, I will be a little bit later. I'm still in Green Bay. But once I'm done talking to you, I'll be there too, and it doesn't get any bigger than this. Third time the Packers have faced the Bears this season. Third time they've faced each other in the postseason all time. And the 213th time they've played each other overall. And Matt LaFleur, when he first became the coach in 2019, he learned all about what this rivalry would mean many years later.
Yeah, probably that first summer when I went down to Lake Geneva, and I was like, we're in Wisconsin, and saw these Bears fans and giving me a hard time. So I also think, just when I think back, that was my first game here as a head coach in 2019 to kick off the season. And I just think back to that atmosphere, how crazy, and just the anticipation for the game. It was a great atmosphere.
You can read all about Packers Bears on our website, channel3000.com. You can also sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage directly to your inbox every single day for free while you're there. But we've got full coverage all day long from Chicago, both on channel3000.com and on News 3 Now. For now, I'm Jason Wilde at Lambeau Field in Green Bay.
Thanks, Jason. Stick around for more on the Packers. Coming up at 8:30, sports director Andrew Banstra and reporter Nash Dara. They're in Chicago now with the latest updates ahead of tonight's game. Let's check in now on your forecast. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is live from our studio in Madison. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. Renee, as we take a look at the three things you need to know, some light snow today, especially during the morning. Warming back up for next week with a few other chances of rain and also some snow throughout next week. Now, as we take a look at the current snowfall, most of the consistent snow has pushed off to the east of Dane County. Still could see maybe a half inch to a full inch of snow for areas closer to Milwaukee. Not going to see much additional accumulation for Madison areas to the west, but the chance of light snow will continue for a few more hours. Then as we get towards the afternoon, we actually are going to see the skies become partly to mostly sunny with a little bit more snow coming into our area later in the evening and overnight. Now, we could see some pockets of moderate snow during these rounds of snow showers in the evening and overnight, but I don't expect to see much additional accumulation, and this will continue until about sunrise tomorrow. And then the snow will be completely gone with more partly to mostly sunny skies expected for tomorrow afternoon. So temperature wise, we're in the middle to lower 30s right now. We're going to stay at that level. If anything, we'll cool down a little bit throughout the day. Upper 20s to low 30s for the afternoon. And tomorrow will feature very similar conditions in the afternoon. Partly sunny skies, highs in the upper 20s. So definitely on the cooler side, but not a big cool down by any means. These temperatures this weekend very close to normal for this time of the year. But as we get towards Monday and Tuesday, we'll be back in the 40s, but then after Tuesday, we'll drop back down. We'll have highs around 30 through the end of the work week. Then at the end of the 10-day forecast, it does look like we are going to see the temperatures drop even further, and we could potentially start to see some bitter cold temperatures return. Now, that's still pretty far out, but it is our first sign since really early December, early to mid-December, that we could be seeing those bitterly cold temperatures. Until then, though, a very January-like weekend with those highs near 30. Mild for Monday, Tuesday. Then we'll see that drop in temperature for Tuesday into Wednesday. And we could see our next chance of snow accumulation towards the end of next work week. Still very unclear if that will for sure happen, but we'll just have some very light precipitation chances for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week with maybe a little bit of a bigger system Thursday into Friday. But we'll continue updating the forecast accordingly. For this weekend, not going to see much snow in the afternoon, but could see that snow return tonight and quiet in January-like for sure tomorrow.
All right, I'll take January-like because December was not it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the coldest time of the year, but it is certainly milder than it was last month. But again, looking at the end of the 10-day forecast, might see those bitter cold return. I'm sorry, but it's inevitable in Wisconsin.
It's okay, I won't blame you. Thanks, Jacob. In health news this morning, 'tis the season of shoveling snow and ice. And while there are obvious risks like slips and falls, you should also be thinking about your heart. Ken Rice has more on the impact shoveling can have when it comes to heart health.
Research shows a connection between shoveling snow and increased risk of heart attack.
There are a lot of different effects that shoveling snow has on the heart, which can lead to heart disease, heart attacks, as well as an increase in dying suddenly from shoveling snow.
Cardiologist Dr. Amish Mehta says first, you're going out into the elements.
The colder weather causes the blood vessels in our bodies to constrict or become more narrow, which can increase blood pressure.
Most people also don't do any pre-shoveling warm-up to get their blood pumping. So you're asking your body to go from 0 to 60 with no prep.
That raises the heart rate and blood pressure from the act of shoveling.
And that can lead to added strain on the heart, which can cause a heart attack. Know the warning signs: chest pain, pressure or tightness in the chest, and shortness of breath.
Fluttering, racing, skipping, pounding in the heart, oftentimes called palpitations, nausea, lightheadedness.
If you have any of those symptoms, stop shoveling and go rest. But Dr. Mehta says know that just stopping doesn't mean you're out of the woods.
If symptoms come on suddenly after they're already inside, then we certainly recommend patients, call 911 and seek medical attention because we'd rather be safe than sorry.
The American Heart Association says if you have heart disease, it's a good idea to plan ahead and have someone else do your snow removal. Ken Rice, CBS News, Pittsburgh.
Still ahead on weekend mornings, how you can attend a concert while supporting a local nonprofit raising money for epilepsy research. Plus, we're bringing you a behind-the-scenes look at the Golden Globes airing tomorrow right here on WISC TV. That's all ahead in your entertainment news. Stick with us. It's Weekend Mornings.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Happening today, Non-Alcoholic Day returns to the Burr Oak in Madison for its third year. You can sample more than 50 non-alcoholic products. That's including beers, seltzers, kombuchas, spirits, hemp-derived products, and more. There are 2 sessions, noon to 2 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Tickets cost $20 in advance or $30 at the door. And if you plan on heading out, meteorologist Jacob Bonasano has what you need to know with the forecast. It'll be a good day to have some spirits, right? Some non-alcoholic spirits?
Yeah, especially, kind of by the afternoon where we see that snow move out, it will be a pretty January-like day, a little breezy. Certainly we'll see that snow still kind of on some surfaces. But as we take a look at future track, a lot of the accumulation that we've already seen is what we're going to see with this system. We're not really going to see much additional accumulation. Some light snow showers may move back into the area later this evening and overnight, but again, I don't expect to see much additional snow from it. Then later in the evening tomorrow, we could see some snow moving through northern Wisconsin, maybe clipping the northern portion of our area. Once again, not really going to bring much to our area. And then for Monday, we'll be dry, light rain possible late Monday night into Tuesday morning. Then late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we could see some light snow. Both of these systems not expected to produce much. The next chance of a bigger system will come Thursday as we'll see some snow move into the area, but a lot certainly could change between now and then. But at the very least, this is the next chance of some heavier snowfall. And so to recap all these precipitation chances, obviously we've seen that precipitation today, light chance Monday night through the day on Wednesday, a little bit a better chance for Thursday and Friday next week.
All right, so we'll be a little dry and then it's coming up there.
Yeah, it'll come back to our area and get some light precipitation at least for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, we'll see. Thank you, Jacob. Local music lovers are getting ready for the annual Freezing Man concert for Joey's Song, a local nonprofit raising money for epilepsy research. That was just a sample from Tears for Fears frontman Kurt Smith with an old favorite. Joey's Song will pack the Sylvie tonight with dozens of Grammy winners and Hall of Famers, including members of Garbage, The Bangles, Guns N' Roses, Goo Goo Dolls, Letters to Cleo, and more. The beloved Wisconsin comic Charlie Bernes is on stage as well tonight. And the amazing part is all of these artists and celebrities are 100% volunteer.
There's an organization called CURE out of Chicago that has really smart people that know how to read medical grants, and they take 100% of what we give them and goes right to the researchers. So even though they have overhead, it doesn't cover their overhead.
Tonight, the artists will be playing some songs of their own, covering others as well. There's known hits and even holding a competition. For tickets or to make a donation, you can head to joeysong.org. In entertainment news this morning, here's a look at preparations as the 83rd Annual Golden Globes will air right here on WISC TV. Gwen Baumgardner brings you the behind the scenes of Hollywood's biggest party.
Golden Globes host Nikki Glazer helped roll out the red carpet in LA Thursday ahead of Sunday's award show.
The Golden Globes are the party of the year, because everybody is here, the drinks are flowing, you're mingling.
Glenn Weiss is the executive producer and director of the Globes, which honors the best in movies, television, and new this year, podcasts.
We're here to capture all of it so that you are a part of a party. You're not just watching an award show.
Leading the film nominations with 9 is the Leonardo DiCaprio action satire, One Battle After Another.
I need to find my daughter.
While on the TV side, HBO's The White Lotus leads with 6.
There's a whole team dedicated to arranging seating for the Globes, though we're told some of these placements could change ahead of Sunday. But one thing organizers wanted to stress to us is that they do not place people based on who they think will win.
We do not know the results. The accounting firm is the only people, and you could be wrong more than half the time. But more importantly, we really want to lay it out appropriately so that everybody is equal.
Jeremy Allen White, Jacob Elordi, and Amanda Seyfried all scored acting nominations in both the TV and film categories, which critics say is becoming more common.
There are no lines anymore. And so, honestly, isn't that surprising if people are double dipping when the material is worthy of them?
Seifert is also slated to present, as are fellow nominees Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Thanks, Gwen. Other presenters include Coleman Domingo, Melissa McCarthy, and Snoop D-O-double-G. You are watching Weekend Mornings. Don't go.
This incident has shaken our community.
Coming up after the break, we've got the full story about new charges at Sun Prairie West High School. That's all ahead on Weekend Mornings. But before we head to break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers. Keep it here. This morning, new charges are filed after child sex crime allegations at Sun Prairie West. We'll hear from the attorney for the school's former principal.
Plus, we're seeing some snow across the area this morning. I'll talk about how much is expected coming up.
Plus, News 3 Now is partnering with SSM Health to launch our Time for Kids, a Recipe for Health campaign. The first tip of the month is ahead. Hello, good morning, and thanks for waking up with us on this Saturday. I'm your Weekend Morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings on Saturday, January 10th. Feels a little bit more like January out there as we've seen that snow move through the area. Got a nice little about ½ inch to ¼ inch of snow on the ground, and certainly, you know, you could take it. It's kind of the good snow in the sense that it accumulated on just about every surface out there, like the trees and everything. But it didn't really accumulate as much on the roads and sidewalks, which is perfect. I mean, that is like best case scenario, right?
Winter wonderland, and then we don't have to worry about driving.
Exactly. The only thing we have to clear off is our cars before we go. But beyond that, not seeing much. But that is the case for Madison. Areas to the east are seeing a little bit more snow, and there actually is now a winter weather advisory in effect for counties east of Dane for the potential of around 1 to 3 inches of snow. So areas to the east of Madison certainly could see a little bit more of that accumulation. I don't expect to see much more than just very light snow for Madison and places to the west. But you could see Fort Atkinson, Watertown still seeing those consistent snow showers, even places to the south near Janesville seeing that consistent snow shower activity. And here's a look at the winter weather advisories. It's in effect until 1 p.m. Although the snow should end over the next hour or two, we still could see some of those travel impacts through 1 p.m. So definitely take it easy on the road, especially for those areas east of Dane County. Now, as we take a look outside, here's a view from Platteville to the southwest of Dane County in southwestern Wisconsin. You can see some of that snow on the ground at the bottom of the screen. And this is kind of the amount of accumulation that we've seen across a good chunk of the area. But by the afternoon, we actually will see sunshine at times with a little bit more light snow later in the day into the overnight hours, but not going to see much additional accumulation. But I'll continue talking more about the rest of the weekend coming up a bit later.
Jacob, thank you. From rumors of child sex abuse to a criminal investigation and now to criminal charges against the former principal of Sun Prairie West High School accused of failing to report the abuse. Law enforcement and parents in the district say the journey from the 2023 school year was too long. Armand Rahman reports.
The nature of the neglect and the extent of the neglect to protect children, that was just overwhelmingly shocking.
Shocking, Sun Prairie West parent Lisa Goldsberry says to hear that the high school's former principal Jennifer Ploger has been charged with failing to report abuse allegations, including one that former Dean of Students Robert Gilkey-Messigeyer was having an inappropriate relationship with a student.
Principal Ploger mentioned the allegation to law enforcement, but did not present a full account of her knowledge of misconduct and withheld information.
Students who tried bringing rumors about Gilkey-Messigeyer to light faced disciplinary action. Goldsberry used to serve on Sun Prairie School Board.
The number one thing I often heard was, I don't want to file a formal complaint because I don't want my kids to get the backlash. And so then to hit a report and see like kids were literally being suspended for speaking up, it's just like, okay, I get it now.
Ploger's attorney says they are vigorously fighting the charges of failure to report child abuse.
She is being used as a scapegoat in this situation. Educators are placed in this rock and a hard place position where they have a duty and an expectation to investigate. But then now, because we don't like the outcome of that investigation, then someone can be charged with a crime.
Later in June of 2025, after the rumors persisted, the district placed Gilkey Messegeyer on leave before firing him that same month.
Students must know adults will act when concerns arise. Educators and administrators must know that mandated reporting laws exist to protect children. This incident has shaken our community.
At some point, there was a culture created that welcomed pedophiles in our district. Like, maybe kids are not as protected as they should be in our schools, and that's sad.
Reporting in Sun Prairie, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Police also referred charges against another staff member for failure to report child abuse, but the district attorney will not be pursuing charges. President Trump says the U.S. stands to make a lot of money off Venezuelan oil. He hosted executives from some of America's biggest oil companies to discuss investments in Venezuela and rebuilding its oil industry. The meeting comes as the U.S. continues to carry out its blockade of ships linked to Venezuela carrying sanctioned oil.
We have an armada, a giant armada like nobody's ever seen in that part of the world, and it's stationed off the coast.
A fifth oil tanker called the Olena is now seized by U.S. military forces. Back at home, state health officials say they will not follow the federal government's new childhood vaccine recommendations. This week, the CDC updated its childhood immunization schedule to recommend fewer vaccines. The Department of Health Services says they will continue to recommend the vaccine schedule published by the American Academy of Pediatrics. They've also issued guidance to Wisconsin healthcare providers affirming the recommendations.
But the fact that there are different recommendations is confusing to people, and it's going to result probably in more vaccine hesitancy because people are going to see that disconnect and say, well, what's going on? Has the science changed? What am I not understanding? So that's the real risk, and that is why I think it's important for the other states, for the professional organizations to be speaking with one voice now.
This is the second time in 2 months DHS has split from the CDC. Last month, the state said it would continue to recommend hepatitis B vaccinations at birth, while the CDC dropped that recommendation. In more local news, the Wisconsin teen who killed a prison guard during a fistfight has pled guilty, while also claiming mental illness. Javaris Hurd entered a plea of guilty by reason of mental disease or defect to second-degree reckless homicide. The charges are in connection to the 2024 death of Corey Prolix at Lincoln Hills Copper Lake School. Hurd also pled guilty to 1 count of battery by a prisoner. Prosecutors dropped a second battery count in exchange for the pleas. And with several massive data centers in the works around Wisconsin, new research takes a look at how it will change the state's utility landscape. The centers would add demand for water and electricity. That comes after years of declining usage of both in Wisconsin. While recent plans suggest the centers would pay for the infrastructure needed to keep up with renewed demand, researchers with the Wisconsin Policy Forum are encouraging policymakers to be careful in their consideration when it comes to the center's power needs. The city of Madison is sharing new data into housing developments from last year. The city completed a net 2,328 houses. 5,000 more are still under construction. Numbers are short from the year before, but the city says it's in line with what they were expecting.
The early signs are definitely encouraging, and I think are a sign that a lot of the housing initiatives that the Common Council put into place in the last year are starting to pay off.
Some of the changes introduced last year to assist in increased housing and decreased pricing was the approval of cottage courts, along with the change of lot sizes and types of housing. New year, new goals, and we have a year-long plan for you. News 3 Now is partnering with SSM Health to launch Our Time for Kids, a Recipe for Health campaign. The first tip of the month is all about setting smart goals as a family.
Goal setting is important because it gives us something to really work around and something to look forward to and achieve in small steps.
SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. It's a simple way to turn big ideas into doable steps. Wellness coach and SSM family medicine physician Dr. Rupa Shah says, for example, instead of saying we'll eat healthier, you can start by eating a healthy, balanced meal twice a week for the next 4 weeks. And the key is doing it together.
When you set goals together, it gives yourself and the kids some more accountability, and that's really what it's about. And it shows them that you are supporting them and the goals that they want to reach, and that you're there for them, right? And it shows them as an adult, too, how to go after things that you really want to achieve.
That team approach makes it more fun and more likely to stick. Whether it's a family walk 3 times a week or making family dinner a priority, small, smart goals can lead to big changes. Our Kyrian Lee will have weekly tips every Tuesday on News 3 Now This Morning, vetted by SSM health professionals to help families build healthier habits. And we'll have those every weekend as well. Find more information under Time for Kids on channel3000.com. Still ahead, our sports director Andrew Banstra and our sports reporter Nash Dara are catching up with a familiar face in Chicago. We'll tell you where and how you can watch that game tonight. That's after the break. We'll be right back. But before we head to break, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, just let us know so we can wish them a happy birthday and share their picture on TV. Keep it here.
You're watching News 3 Now This Morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Our sports reporter Nash Dara traveled to Chicago yesterday with sports director Andrew Banstra ahead of the game tonight. That's to provide full coverage for you folks at home. And this morning, Nash shares how he caught up with NFL legend Richard Sherman.
Good morning from Chicago. It is game day, and last night I was out about in the city at a bar with hundreds of Packer fans who were repping their green and gold, but I was also able to run into one familiar face that you might know. Here in Chicago, you go to a Chicago bar, you see that much green and gold. Is that just wild for you to see, or what was it like for Packer fans in there? How amped up are they?
No, they're super amped up, but no, it's not surprising. I mean, it's a big-time playoff game. It's a rivalry game. It's not like they're that far apart. What is it, a couple-hour drive?
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah, so you would expect that. You know, these are historic franchises, and it's a fun season, and that's what the game is for. The season's coming to a close, and people want to show their passion.
Now, Richard said he couldn't give me his prediction for tonight's matchup. He said I was going to have to wait for the broadcast at 7 p.m. So until then, for now, outside in Chicago, Nash Dara, News 3 Sports.
Thanks, Nash. Stay warm out there. The teams split their regular season matchups, but the stakes are, of course, much higher tonight. Jordan Love is set to return after a 2-week break, and a lot of their starters sat against the Vikings last week, so we'll see if they're rusty or ready for the Bears. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. You'll need Amazon Prime to watch, but sports director Andrew Banstra and reporter Nash Dara are in Chicago, and they'll have full coverage tonight. We'll check in with Andrew after the break for more on tonight's game. And if you're not able to watch the Packers game at Soldier Field and you don't have Amazon Prime, there's still a chance to see it. The Draft House in Verona is one of many places making sure that everyone has a chance to watch. While game days are always busy, the Draft House's owner expects this one to be even bigger because of the Prime exclusive. The Draft House uses NFL Ticket, which allows them to access Amazon Prime games without worrying about streaming. That's for all of their 26 TVs. And the playoff fever also hit Brookfield Zoo in Chicago. The zoo's brown bears, Tim and Jess, predicted, perhaps as one would expect, that the Chicago Bears would emerge victorious over the Green Bay Packers tonight. Footage shows the Bears shredding meat and fruit-based enrichments in their enclosure. Now, Richard didn't give us his prediction. You are not going to give us our prediction, and the Bears...
I'm
Those
too nervous
Bears are biased, so we can't trust that prediction right there.
I'm too nervous to give my prediction, but it would be biased, let's be honest.
I think it might be, because you're a Bears fan.
Yeah, let's take a look at the forecast for the game while we're talking about it. Now, there is going to be the chance of some snow throughout the game, but I don't expect to see a lot of accumulation. Now, if you have seen stuff on social media from outside sources, obviously, that have suggested it's going to be a big winter storm, it's not going to be. It's going to be just some light snow, but it is going to be a pretty windy game with those temperatures on the colder side. So overall, you know, not too far off from what a typical game in Green Bay or Chicago would be this time of the year. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the wind here in Wisconsin, because we're also going to be seeing some of that wind pick up, even though the snow is not really going to be falling much this afternoon. We'll see wind gusts up around 25 to 30 miles per hour, and that's going to continue into the overnight hours as well and into Sunday morning. We'll get a little bit better throughout the day on Sunday, but for the most part, we aren't going to be seeing the massive wind gusts, but certainly it will be noticeable throughout the day today and early tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Jacob. The Packers lost 4 straight games entering the postseason, one of 4 teams in NFL history to do that, and still reach the playoffs. Still to come, sports director Andrew Banstra reports from Chicago this morning, and after that, Jacob returns with your full forecast. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
Packers, Bears, playoffs. 3 words that are rare air in the NFL. This evening, because by the way, it is game day, the Packers and Bears will meet in the postseason for just the 3rd time ever. And by the way, each of the last 2 times these teams played in the postseason, well, the winner went on to win it all. Jordan Love said it's a rivalry he didn't know much about before arriving in Green Bay, which is understandable for a California kid. But when it comes to Jaden Reed, no one knows better.
I've been watching, the rivalry all my life, really. Being a kid from Chicago, just watching, I mean, it was hard being a Bears fan because, you just watch the Packers, beat the Bears every year, from my perspective. But, yeah, man, it's a blessing to be a part of and, just knowing what it takes. And I'm excited to be a part of it.
Nowadays, Love, too, is well-versed on the NFL's most storied rivalry. Unlike the Bears, he has the playoff experience to know no matter who you're playing, games like this are special.
These are the moments, you want as a player. You want those big moments, a big rivalry game. Like you mentioned, we haven't met in the playoffs, and, I don't know when the last time was. And so, it's a big stage where, it's win or go home. So this is what you want as a player, to be able to thrive in and go out there and play your best ball.
Josh Jacobs took that even a step further. One of the NFL's best backs has only played in the postseason in 2 games. For Jacobs, games like these, why you spend half the season playing through a knee injury and why you grind your entire life for a game, and the path to becoming a true legend.
These is the moments that we dreamed of our whole life. Since we was a little kid, wanted to play in these type of situations. The reason why we worked as hard as we did, sacrifice whatever, to be in these situations, to have a chance to play in the Super Bowl, which a lot of people don't get to do at all in their career. So we know that, this opportunity is unique and we don't want to take it for granted.
But inspiration can only take you so far. The Packers are going to have to battle it out on that beautiful cathedral of football that stands right behind me. We'll see you later tonight, hopefully celebrating a Packers victory. For now, at Soldier Field in Chicago, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
Thanks, Andrew. On Sunday, we'll air the Bills and the Jags. You can catch that right here on WISC TV. Kickoff is at noon. And today at noon, Badger men's basketball returning with a Big Ten showdown against number 2 Michigan. You can also catch that right here on WISC TV. The Badgers face a tough road test in Ann Arbor as the Wolverines remain undefeated at 14-0 overall and 4-0 in the conference play. Let's check in on your forecast now with meteorologist Jacob Montesano.
Good morning, Michelle Renee. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. We'll see some light snow continue today with warmer temperatures for Monday and Tuesday. A few other chances of some rain and snow throughout next week as temperatures will bounce up and down a little bit. Now, looking at the current radar, light snow for Madison, a little bit more consistent snow for areas to the east across southeast Wisconsin and near Milwaukee. Still could see about another inch of snow near Milwaukee. Counties east of Madison, still seeing that falling snow, but I don't expect to see much additional accumulation, especially for locations west of Madison. And as we get to the afternoon, we actually are going to see this clear out with skies becoming rather sunny at times and maybe some light snow moving back into the area. But a better chance of snow returning will come in the evening and overnight. Still mostly light snow during this time, maybe some pockets of moderate snow, but not expected to see any additional accumulation. And that will certainly be gone by Sunday morning with more sunshine for Sunday afternoon. Temperatures this afternoon will be around 30, pretty steady from where they are right now. They will drop into the lower 20s overnight, then rise back into the upper 20s for Sunday afternoon. Once again, partly sunny skies both this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. But temperatures will continue warming up for Monday, Tuesday, highs in the 40s, then cooling down for the middle of the week and towards the end of the 10-day forecast, where we could actually see high temperatures only in the teens. Now, precipitation during all this includes any chance of rain or snow. Going to be pretty dry after that light chance of precipitation or light chance of snow tonight. For Sunday and Monday will be dry, and then Monday night through Wednesday during the day, small chance of precipitation. A little bit of a bigger system once we get towards next week as we'll see that snow move back into the area. But right now, a lot could change between now and then. It does look like that is our next chance of accumulating snow. But again, not really talking too much about totals just yet. So this weekend will be pretty quiet now that the snow has mostly cleared out of the region. Just some light snow this afternoon into tonight and dry tomorrow. Highs near 30 for both afternoons. 40s for Monday, Tuesday, but then we will see some colder temperatures, especially by the time we get to next weekend.
Thanks, Jacob. And coming up on Weekend Mornings, we're sharing your morning motivation and a playlist pick from Aura. Be like her and create a playlist pick with us. Just send us a song. Subject playlist pick to Mr. Quinn at WISCTV.com and tune in on Weekend Mornings to hear your song. We'll be right back after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Finally this morning, we're sharing your playlist pick.
Rush, rush, little girl, get done and I wanna run, rush, rush. Hush, hush, little girl, when you're talking at your friends.
Check out Nimble Girl by Hotel Eden. Aura chose this song because she originally heard it in an episode of Broad City. And if you haven't seen Broad City, I strongly recommend. Please, guys, create a weekend playlist pick with me.
You said that was your COVID show?
It was my COVID show. I watched that while I was at home during sophomore year of college. I was staying at my grandma's house, and that was like going to school online and then watching Broad City and Criminal Minds.
I don't really remember any one specific thing during COVID. It was just kind of a bunch of different things. But yeah, and might be a good day to kind of chill indoors like we did during COVID with the snow kind of already falling, and it will be colder this weekend, but then it'll be milder before it gets colder. And before we head to break, let's do a quick morning motivational quote by Thomas Edison.
Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Wake up with us tomorrow morning from 6:30 to 8. Up next is Lucky Dog Reunions.